What is up, everybody? And week 12 is over, and the Eagles played the Rams. They were out in LA. They got that dub. They came back. So we're going to talk a little bit about week 12. We're going to try a new wine today. And I'm going to give y'all some of my thoughts on how I'm feeling, what I think about this Eagles team. But keep listening. You are checking out Fourth and Wine. All right, everyone. So welcome to another episode of Fourth and Wine. My glasses are so dirty. Trying to keep these things clean is a hassle. I feel like I cannot just get it together. Anyway, I think there's something. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Fourth and Wine. And let's talk a little bit, how I always do. I started off with my wine. So this week, because it is Thanksgiving, and I know a lot of y'all gonna be eating, chilling with your families, I decided to offer you something you can sip on with your Thanksgiving dinner. So this is a Chardonnay. It is Gnarly Head. I'm not sure if I've ever had the Gnarly Head brand before. I might have. Just not of Chardonnay. I will say Chardonnay is not one of my favorite wines. I don't like it as much. But surprisingly, it comes from a green grape, which that's the grape variety. It is one of my favorite grapes. I love green grapes. I don't eat any other flavored grape. But Chardonnay, I felt like I could never get into it. But we're trying a Gnarly Head Chardonnay made in California. The grapes were harvested in 2023. The bottle's pretty cool. There's a tree on the front. It kind of looks like, what's that tree from Game of Thrones that Bran was whispering to and acting all crazy? Game of Thrones disappointed me the last few episodes. But either way, it looks like that tree a little bit. It looks like that tree. But let's pour up a little bit of Chardonnay and just let the song play. The long way, the strong way, it is all day. This was all inspired by little Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay. Hold up. All right, I'm done. That was during the time where I loved Kanye and Big Sean. Couldn't tell me nothing. Anyway, let's look at this. So there's a little bit of bubbles in it. So obviously acidic, like many white wines, as I always say. But it is a wheat golden color. Honestly, it's very clear. It's pretty color. Let's smell it. I poured a lot more than I probably should have, so swirling it around to release the aromas might be a little difficult. Smells like apples. Honestly, I do get a little hint of pear. It's very fruity. So let me, before I taste it, let me tell you guys what I said. I picked a wine based on Thanksgiving. I'm taking these glasses off because I feel like I cannot see. Actually, I can't see without them, so I guess I'm in the same predicament. We'll figure that out as we go. Anyway, this wine this week will pair very well with your mac and cheese. I know a lot. That's my dog. She gonna do that every now and again. But pairs really well with mac and cheese. And I know a lot of y'all are very particular about your mac and cheese. So if your auntie make a good mac and cheese, pair it with a little Chardonnay. I'm telling you, it won't miss, okay? Auntie mac and cheese, if it was on a 10 before, it's going to be on a 12 after you have a little bit of this. Mac and cheese, great with roasted chicken. And I think that's a good thing to call out because, like myself, I feel like a lot of people don't actually like turkey. Or not even that they don't like it. I think most people probably just don't know how to cook a good turkey. So we say we don't like it. I don't know. People eat turkey bacon, so I'm assuming we like turkey. But turkey, like the big bird, that big old bird, it's not one of my favorites. It's never given what it needs to give, okay? But the roasted chicken, it will go very well with roasted chicken. And some sweet potatoes. I'm going to be making me some sweet potatoes, some sweet potato pie, and I'm going to have my Chardonnay right along with it. So let's taste this. I keep getting ready to taste it, and I'm talking, sipping and talking. But let's taste this, and I will give you my thoughts. It's not bad. I don't like Chardonnay, but maybe I like gnarly head Chardonnay. It's on the sweeter side, in my opinion. It is a little acidic and like bitter in the beginning. Let's swish it around. It doesn't linger in my mouth. Like the tannins, at least for me, aren't like busting through with this particular one. It's very soft. It's very subtle. And the alcohol content on this is, what is it? 13.5. So definitely contains a lot of alcohol. And I can feel it. My body's getting warm on the inside. But if I have to rate this wine, which I do have to, I'm going to rate this wine. I'd give it a 3.2 out of 5. I don't know why the 0.2. Because it's like it's good. It is a good wine. So I think you should definitely try a Chardonnay. And if you can, grab this gnarly head Chardonnay, especially if you're new to trying wines. I think this is a good one. It's affordable. It wasn't super expensive. I wish I could remember what I paid for it. My total bill came to like $45, and I bought 2 wines and an eggnog. So give or take, it didn't cost any more than $15. So it's affordable. You can grab a few bottles, share it with your family, but also as an introductory to Chardonnay, I think this will probably be a good one because it's not too bitter. I think it's just right. So go pick yourself up. And like, I'm not sponsored by these people, but I think I should let y'all know. Like, go pick this up at your wine and spirits. Like, people who live in PA, yeah, you always got to get your liquor at the wine and spirits store. Very strict rules. Actually, no, I keep forgetting. We got the supermarkets now. But go pick yourself up a gnarly head Chardonnay 2023. Honestly, it's delicious. And I think for your first time trying a Chardonnay, go for it. But anyway, let's get into this week's game. So, just a quick recap of a few things that happened. Kenny Gainwell with a touchdown. Shout out to Kenny Gainwell, the running back for the Eagles, with a touchdown after a huge play and a huge game by Saquon Barkley on a 3rd and 10. It was, honestly, yesterday's game was amazing. And it was really good to see the Eagles dominate, especially being away. Kenny Gainwell, the refs yesterday, when I tell y'all they were throwing flags like it was the 4th of July. It looked like I just walked in to an Old Navy back in middle school. It was flags galore, okay? So in total, there were only 8 penalties, but the penalties were just unnecessary. So the Eagles got called for 4 penalties yesterday for over 50 yards. It was unnecessary, very ticky-tacky in a lot of moments. But I'm not going to get into that. It didn't hinder the Eagles' performance, so I won't harp on the refs. let's talk about what really went down yesterday. So if you already do not know, the Eagles have Saquon Barkley. That man is amazing. So yesterday, he rushed for 255 yards, which is a franchise record. So the first time any Eagles player has rushed for this many yards in a single game, and it was his career high. So Saquon spent his first 6 seasons with the New York Giants, and he comes to the Eagles in his first season here. He has a career high. He was close to hitting it actually a few weeks ago, but he allowed everyone else to get their stuff off and get the opportunity. On top of 255 yards rushing, Saquon also had 47 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns and 2 of them being huge gains for over 70 yards each. Saquon is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So people are starting to talk about, there's not much to talk about when your team is winning and we've won our 7th game straight. So a lot of the talk can be a little overly critical or whatever you want to call it. But can Saquon stay healthy? It is a valid question to ask. We still have 6 more games to play this season, with a potential 4 more games if we can make it to a Super Bowl. So can he stay healthy? At this rate, this offense runs through Saquon. It is what it is. We are a run team. That is our identity, and we do it very well. We have a good front. We have a good offensive line, and we have a great running back. So to talk a little bit about Saquon now, Saquon has had a few injuries over his career. So in his rookie season, he played all 16 games when the NFL was in a 16-game season, rookie season, but he had a hamstring injury to start the season. In 2019, he had a sprained ankle and he missed 3 games. In 2020 that was the year he pretty much sat the entire year because he had an ACL tear, which was a season-ending injury, and he only played the first 2 games. 2021, he missed 4 games due to an ankle sprain. 2022, he missed a game with a stinger that he actually played through. 2023, he had an ankle sprain. He missed 3 games. And now we are here in 2024, and he has played all 11 games throughout this season through week 12. But can he manage to stay healthy? This season, he has over 220 carries, over 1,300 yards, and 257 receiving yards. That is a lot of mileage on one person. And while I do understand the concern of him being healthy, I don't want to put in the air the injury talk around Saquon. I think Howard Eskin asked the question in a presser yesterday to Nick Sirianni about Saquon's health and his wear and tear. And Nick Sirianni stated, and I think he said it, the best way you could possibly say, is that Saquon is well aware of when he needs to step up and when he needs to be in the game and when he needs to take a breather and move to the side and give himself a break and let the other guys get off. He's very good at managing that himself. Also, we still have Kenny Gainwell. And while Kenny Gainwell isn't, our number one, Kenny Gainwell most definitely can be productive in our offense. So if you look at Saquon's first 6 seasons in the league, he's played about 75% of all his games, including the season with the torn ACL where he only played 2 games. But if you take that season away, he's played almost 87% of games, which I don't think is bad. And considering he's had an injury every single year, but he's never had this offensive line to protect, to block. I really hate putting injury talk into the air. I really do hate it. But I think there will need to be a balance, especially down the stretch as we move into week 13 and so on and so forth. If we really plan to make a strong run for the Super Bowl, we're going to have to get Kenny Gainwell more touches and have it a little bit more balanced. Saquon, of course, is still our number one. Saquon, of course, should get the most carries in any game. But I think balance will allow him to rest. And we have a lot of offensive talent. Running the ball is our identity, don't get me wrong. But Jalen and A.J. Brown, that connection, that chemistry is there. We continue to play off that. I mean, it has worked for us in past seasons, so I don't want us to overwork Saquon. But, he may need to sit a game or sit time and allow Kenny Gainwell to step up. But I know, and from what I know of Saquon Barkley, he is going to put his best foot forward. He's going to produce. He's going to play through injury. He's going to make it happen. While Saquon has been the topic of discussion, also, let's talk about Jalen Hurts, because everyone's always going to talk about the starting QB. And people are concerned about Jalen, and I guess rightfully so. But let's read off Jalen's stats really quick. From last night specifically, I'm not talking the whole season. He had a 68.2% completion rate, a 77.9 quarterback rating. He threw for 179 yards and rushed for 39. And he had one passing touchdown, A.J. Brown, which was crazy. Shout out to A.J. Brown for catching the ball and getting 3 feet in bounds. When I saw that, I said, I don't care if he fumbled it once he got out of bounds. All those feet were in bounds, okay? Anyway, and Jalen has protected the ball a lot better since the bye. This was a major concern last season and before the bye, and I think that he has handled that very well. I was asked, and someone said that they think Jalen Hurts is greedy. And I don't know if I'm going to say Jalen Hurts is greedy. I truly, truly do not think that is the character of Jalen Hurts. I don't know that man from a can of paint, but I do not think that is him. I think that Jalen will make the decision that he thinks is best and is going to make him the most comfortable. And I don't always think his decisions are the best ones, at least the plays that I think he draws up on his own. But I think he understands his strengths and he plays to that. What's comfortable for him sometimes is running the ball. And sometimes it's because he can't move through the progressions quick enough or he doesn't see his guys open. And if that means that he's got to use his legs, then so be it. I think a lot of us have a hard time accepting quarterbacks that use their legs and aren't super pass heavy and can throw a dot or throw a deep ball when needed. I don't think that's Jalen. And I think we need to come to terms that that is not him. That's not who he is. He is a good balance of passing and running the ball. He has a lot of athleticism. And I think that people could be concerned with him using his legs as far as things like injuries. Or they view it as, he's struggling. His football IQ might not be there. And a lot of people feel like quarterbacks, you're supposed to throw. I mean, they are supposed to throw the ball. But also you can hand it off. You can use your legs. You can run. And I feel like the direction where the league is going, if the league wanted quarterbacks to only throw the ball and be very pass heavy, they wouldn't have devalued the running backs. There was that whole situation where running backs weren't getting paid enough. running backs weren't being valued enough, which is part of the reason Saquon is no longer in New York. And I'm not taking anything away from running backs, but I feel like a lot of owners and a lot of teams have viewed quarterbacks like, well, let me get 2 for the price of 1. Let me get a quarterback that can run. I only need him to get a few yards, make a few plays. And then once we move it down the field, cool. Let me hit the receivers. I just say this is what quarterbacks I feel like are developing into. They're more athletic. They move around. And some of them still have an arm. Like I'm not even going to take away that Jalen doesn't have an arm. He has been accurate in his throws as of late. And if he doesn't see it, then run. I'd rather him protect the ball and make that decision than to put the ball in the harm's way. Because you lose the turnover battle, you're not making it to the Super Bowl. You're not making it through the playoffs. That's just not how you play. So yes, I think there are things that Jalen Hurts can work on and a lot of things that he needs to clean up. But let's be real. Nick Foles won us a Super Bowl. And I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Nick Foles. Like, no shade to Nick. He's a great player. You know, shout out to his retirement. But it's about the full team. It's about the team around him. And it's about playing to your strengths. And that's exactly what we did in 2017 to win a Super Bowl. Play to our strengths. And just utilize the team around us. That team clicked. It meshed. It worked. Now, I talked about, the 2 biggest players on offense. A.J. Brown also had a touchdown. Shout out to him. And it's crazy because you tend to overlook A.J. Brown now in moments because Saquon is so dominant. But A.J. Brown mentioned in a presser after the game, he said, if I only get 3 carries, then that means I need to get 3 touchdowns. If I only get 3 touches, I need to get 3 touchdowns. And that's a good mentality to have. You make the most of the opportunities when you have them. And he has. Taking nothing away from A.J. Brown, that guy is good. And he made some really huge plays for us last night. Now moving on to defense. Let's talk a little bit about this defense. So Isaiah Rodgers came into the game yesterday. And, he had some pass interference calls on him. One being on a play that moved the Rams in the 1st and goal territory. And I felt like one of the pass interference, the PI calls, was ticky-tacky, but it was there. He gave up some yards on a few plays. And I wasn't expecting this from Isaiah Rodgers because the moments that we've seen him come in as sub for Darius Slay, he's looked good. But against Puka Nacua, it didn't look great all the time. But this defense overall, top notch. Like, top notch. Jalen Carter got double teamed all day yesterday. When I noticed that, I said, they treated him how we treated Aaron Donald. They double teamed him pretty much the entire game, which it opened the way for a lot of guys to get their opportunity. Milton Williams, he was out there playing. He had a huge sack on 3rd and 13 when we needed it. And it forced the Rams to kick a field goal. And then they missed. Like, these are when the team comes together like this, Brandon Graham got a sack as well. Other players got opportunities because they were so focused on Jalen Carter. And even Jalen Carter still was getting out of that double coverage and making plays, rushing the passer, getting in Matthew Stafford's face. I'm so proud of this Eagles defense. Like, I can't say it enough. And the most pleasant surprise of all is Nakobe Dean. It was not looking too good for Nakobe Dean in his first two years. And I'm going to say that's because he used to wear some questionable outfits when he was coming to the games, okay? Every time I looked at Nakobe Dean, it was just an outfit I didn't enjoy. But I don't know. Maybe he got a new stylist. He's been looking good in 2024. He's got better clothes, better style, okay? Sometimes my man would show up with the Django hats on. Anyway, Vic Fangio has somehow unleashed this amazing player in Nakobe Dean at this level. And I love it. Vic Fangio also has been able to make adjustments with this team. Watching this team, try things out in the first half. Things aren't working. They have gone back. They're like, okay, let's make adjustments for the second quarter. Okay, halftime, this didn't look great. Let's continue to make adjustments. And that is what you need out of your team as a whole, but especially your defense. It is to make adjustments because the offense on the other side of that ball is making the same adjustments. Initially, the Rams ran what I just recently learned. They ran what is called a play action bootleg pass. So a play action is when you fake it like you're going to hand it off to a runner or running back typically, but instead the quarterback keeps the ball and runs along the line of scrimmage. That's that blue line that's on the field when you're watching TV. It's the blue line. The quarterback keeps the ball, runs along the line of scrimmage, and instead of handing it off to the runner, he finds an open receiver. And by this time, everyone on the defensive side has moved to one side or the other, assuming that the running back has the ball. But nope, gotcha. He doesn't have it. And then your quarterback is able to connect with the receiver. And that was happening a few times in the beginning. And Vic saw this and adjusted. We also weren't able to stop the run. So Kyron Williams in the beginning, he was making a few moves on a line that's like, wow, it's crazy because usually we are so good at stopping the run. You like running it on us, you're not doing it. But they were having some success initially with running the ball, and Vic made adjustments. They noticed that Jalen Carter was getting double teamed. It just is refreshing to see how this team has grown and how it has developed over the last few years. Over the last year, I'm sorry. Because last year we were ranked 26 in the league in overall defense, y'all. 26. Heading into week 12, we were number one. Number one. I was expecting improvement from this Eagles defense this year, but not to the extent that I am seeing right now. And I will definitely have to give Vic Fangio his props. He's good at developing players. He's good at seeing talent. Zach Bond, who would have thought Zach Bond would have been a talent? But yeah, Isaiah Rodgers yesterday came into the game because unfortunately, Darius Slay had to leave due to a concussion. And Darius has been banged up for the last few weeks. So not that this is a good thing that he has a concussion. By no means. This is not good. But maybe this is an opportunity for him to just sit, rest, heal, and come back in a couple of weeks. But it could be a worry for us not having Darius Slay. As much as everyone's like, oh, he's getting old, he cooked, this, that, and the other. A lot of teams, they tried him yesterday and they were successful. But a lot of teams don't, they don't want to. They know that Darius Slay is an all-pro. Darius Slay knows he's an all-pro, and he's a great player to have on that side of the ball, on the other line of some good wide receivers, especially nearing the end of the season where you're trying to make a playoff push and make it to an NFC championship. But let's talk about something that happened. I woke up to this morning. This is unfortunate news. But the world, the Eagles world, we woke up to the news that Brandon Graham, BG, is out for the remainder of the season. Now, outside of what this means for the Eagles defense and the defensive ends, what this means for the Eagles pass rush, which has been pretty inconsistent this season and difficult, it just sucks losing such a great player, such a good locker room guy, such a positive person. Like hearing his interview after the game, talking about his season-ending injury. He's just so positive, and I'm so sad about this. I'm like genuinely sad. Because at the beginning of the season, he did announce that this would be, his tour, his last hurrah. But he had an outstanding season so far, and an outstanding game. And it's heartbreaking that that might have been his last game. He put a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford yesterday and gave a lot of opportunities with that pressure to the other guys on the line. He got a sack yesterday. So what this means for the team, especially with Bryce Huff also being placed on IR due to, I believe, a wrist injury. Bryce Huff, unfortunately, wasn't overly productive this season, but I hope, something comes from that. He gets better and that changes. But this means that Jalix Hunt will have to step up. And Jalix Hunt is Eagles rookie and the 94th pick of the draft this year. And he's going to have to come to play. Now, Vic is really good with developing players, from what I can tell. But I don't expect Jalix Hunt to come in and become some dominant player. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting too much. It'll probably take him some time, but I will remain hopeful that Vic will be able to adjust, come up with a new game plan now that BG is out. But yeah, that was probably, I didn't mean to end this on a sad note, but that was actually probably some sad news coming out of yesterday, that BG might have played his last game, and now he's out for the season. I hope he spins it back, but he hasn't decided on that 100% yet. But moving along to week 13, the Eagles are going to be playing the Baltimore Ravens on December 1st, I believe at 4:25. So this will be a game. The Ravens are playing right now, tonight. They are playing the Chargers. So it'll be interesting to see, one, how the Ravens come out of this, because they are coming off a loss against the Steelers, which is a divisional game. So for the Ravens, you see the Steelers multiple times a year. Divisional games can be tricky. If you didn't see the Commanders and Cowboys game yesterday, divisional games can be tricky. They can be crazy. They're usually very exciting to watch. But yeah, them coming off of that loss, I am hopeful that they will not have a loss tonight against the Chargers, but we shall see. And a lot of this, I feel like tonight will provide momentum for them next week. If they win or lose, if they lose, I can't see them losing again. But the Eagles going on an 8-win streak, somebody gonna pull our card eventually. As good as we've been playing, as great as this defense is, it's gonna come eventually. And if it has to come, I'd rather it come against the Ravens, and not because I think they're a better team, which, I mean, they're a good team, but not because I think they're better, but because they're an AFC team, and I'd rather us beat the NFC teams that we have down the stretch. I'd rather us win our division, and make it to an NFC championship. The game is important. All games are important. But an AFC loss means less when it comes to ranking and getting number one and trying to get ahead of the Lions, because the Lions have been tough this season. They're a good team. There's no getting around it. I like it. They are surprisingly good. There's no surprise. It's just that the Lions have been not a very good team for so long that they're having their moment right now. But I hope we ruin that very soon, or someone does. Maybe not us, but someone. But yeah, we got the Ravens coming up. And I think that defense will really need to figure out a way to stop Derrick Henry. I mean, him and Lamar, they both run. They both going to use their legs. You got to figure that out. And Derrick Henry is big. That is a big dude. So figuring out how to stop Derrick Henry, figuring out where Lamar is going to be, not allowing him to escape the pocket, get out and make plays and run with his legs. The Eagles defense is going to be all over the place. And now with the BG injury, with Bryce Huff being out, it'll be interesting to see how next week plays out. But I'm excited to watch. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving with your family. Enjoy the time. Pick up a Chardonnay. It'll go great with your Thanksgiving dinner. Specifically, if you want, you could go try this Gnarly Head Chardonnay. I told you it was pretty affordable. 2023 is the brand that I picked up. But yeah, can't wait for next week. Can't wait to talk to y'all and chat. Tell your friends to like, follow, subscribe, all those other good things. Listen to me, check me out. And I need to get some guests on here. Who wants to come chat with me? I need someone to talk to. I'm tired of just talking to myself. Got to get somebody on here to come chat and run it up with me. But anyway, until next time, thanks for listening. Peace.